Hi everyone, I'm Nicholas Tutora. Welcome to a weekend edition of Tutora Time. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is very afraid of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doesn't like if people speak aggressively to her, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, who was confronted and harassed yesterday by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, since she has no committee positions, apparently has nothing better to do than stalk around and challenge her colleagues to debate.
What a sham going on in the halls of Congress.
This was an aggressive confrontation that we witnessed outside the House chamber from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
AOC and her squad fall into the classic saying they could dish it out, but they can't take it. AOC is claiming she's afraid of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And what did Marjorie Taylor Greene do? She called to her across a hallway and said, "You have to debate your policies on the Green New Deal with me."
She continued to chase after her and shouted that Ocasio-Cortez was a coward and that she was failing to defend her radical socialist beliefs.
And of course, AOC won't do that. Simply asking her to debate is aggressive, and AOC needs to go to her safe space to be protected. This is ridiculous. These are leaders of the United States. You can't have sniveling little girls running a government.
I don't know why she needs security. She shouldn't have a problem debating about her policy. Why would a member of Congress need security to debate with another member? That doesn't make sense.
If she thinks Greene is aggressive, wait till she finds out how aggressive the communist Chinese are going to be or the Russians are going to be. Is this the way AOC and her squad plan on defending the country, by getting afraid and running for cover when somebody doesn't talk nice to them?
Yeah, the way that you were approaching Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, that Speaker Pelosi
By talking
today.
to her.
So
she says screaming. You know what screaming is? Screaming is what people do when rockets are fired at them, like Hamas terrorists are firing into Israel. That's what people do. They scream when that happens. I was talking to AOC saying, you need to debate me about the Green New Deal. That's her legislation. She should be able to defend it for the American people. She should. Why? I would think everyone should be asking her why she can't defend her policy.
First of all, there's no evidence that Greene did anything wrong whatsoever. And AOC, her background is Puerto Rican. I'm from the Bronx, I'm Italian, and I've known a lot of Puerto Ricans. And, I gotta say, raising your voice and calling that aggressive is a bit inauthentic, coming from either Italian or Puerto Rican backgrounds. There's a lot of shouting over the dinner table, and there's a lot of quote-unquote aggressive talk. I love the way the left just terms things, aggressive talk. That doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? Here's the way the left works. They float a ridiculously stupid idea. You question them. They might give you one answer that is in no way pertinent to the subject matter. You might bring up another point, and then they'll say, this conversation is over because they're taking the moral high ground and they're superior to you, and they know better, and they don't have to engage you anymore.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said that, I think in response to a question about this, that she worked in a bar and used to have to throw people like this out of bars all the time, so she's sort of used to it.
They're saying Marjorie Taylor Greene is aggressive. AOC and the squad call people racist, fascist, white supremacists, say they have to dismantle the entire system because white people are implicitly racist. I mean, that's aggressive. Telling people that they're white supremacists, that's aggressive. Telling people that they're oppressors simply because of their skin color, that's aggressive. Telling black people that you're forever victims because of the history of the world, that's aggressive. AOC and the squad talk so tough when they're surrounded by security guards, but she's afraid to even talk to another member of Congress. I mean, that is ridiculous. The whole thing is ginned up hysteria. AOC is the type of crazy woman that you break up with immediately because they'll do and they'll say anything. It's not at all based in fact or truth. The media keeps taking AOC's side, saying that Marjorie Greene told AOC that she supports terrorists. She does support terrorists. She supports Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization. They're launching rockets into Israel, unfortunately, as we speak.
And then she's on social media. She's defending terrorists. She's defending terrorist Hamas and supporting them.
Hamas is a known terrorist group, so is Hezbollah. But yet AOC and the squad support them. They support the Palestinians. Palestinian people who want peace are victims of Hamas and Hezbollah. And by the way, the Palestinians have been offered everything they wanted several times only to turn it down, because the only thing they really want is the destruction of Israel. AOC thinks that Marjorie Greene calling her name in a hallway is aggressive. Well, what does she say to the people of Israel who have rockets fired in on them? Those people she calls oppressors.
She says screaming. You know what screaming is? Screaming is what people do when rockets are fired at them, like Hamas terrorists are firing into Israel.
It's not aggressive to fire rockets at people, but it's aggressive to call somebody's name. I mean, come on, people. This is ridiculous. Where are the men in this country to stand up? Where are the men in the Democratic Party to say demanding somebody debate you is not at all aggressive? I mean, the left just won't answer a question. And if you press them, they cry that you're harassing them or you're aggressive with them. I love the vague terms they use that have no meaning whatsoever. Aggressive. That means anything you want it to mean. They didn't say she hit her or she punched her or she spit in her or she was up in her face screaming. Although we do have those reports the other way around, that Cori Bush gets up in Marjorie Taylor Greene's face and screams an inch away from her nose, but nobody calls that aggressive. All the horrible names they call Trump and his supporters, that's aggressive. AOC's ideas are stupid, childish, and they don't work, and they're bankrupting everybody. So she should have to answer for them, and she doesn't get to hide behind the doors and not discuss things with other adult members of Congress. That's her job. It's all a diversion. It's all a gossip column. The left is one big gossip column. They don't care anymore about everybody who's suffering at the border. They don't care about the border crisis. They don't care that Israel is under attack. They don't care that the pipeline was hacked. They don't care about any of it. What they care about is that Marjorie Taylor Greene got aggressive with AOC. Oh my God, how terrible. I think it's aggressive to strip Marjorie Taylor Greene of all her committee positions. And the media is siding with AOC.
Kept asking her why she supports Antifa and Black Lives Matter, which she falsely referred to as terrorist groups.
They're trying to say that BLM and Antifa are not terrorist groups. They are. They stop people in the street. They beat them senseless. They block traffic. They burn things to the ground. They loot. They riot. They assault people. That's a terrorist organization. They enforce their political will through acts of violence. That's the definition of a terrorist organization.
She also defends Antifa and BLM rioters. We have Ilhan Omar, Kamala Harris sharing the Minnesota Freedom Fund bail bond link, getting people out of prison after they committed crimes during these riots. These are the real questions that need to be asked, not of me for being willing to talk to members of Congress about these issues.
So Greene is right. Not only does AOC and the squad support Hamas, Hezbollah, and those terrorists, but they also support the domestic terrorists. According to them, BLM and Antifa should be in the streets until the left thinks the problem is solved, which is never, because they're just manipulating it for political power. We cannot trust leadership of our country to somebody with the emotional and mental constitution of the likes of AOC. What is somebody like that going to do in a negotiation with the Chinese? Is that what Kamala Harris is going to do when she's president shortly? Just say, oh my goodness, I'm so afraid of the Chinese and they don't talk to me nice, so I better give them everything they want. It is ridiculous. It is childish, and we no longer can tolerate it. My Roku station, Live Free TV, is going to be launching over the next 5 days, and I'm going to give you more details about it. I've created a cancel-free platform where the right can speak out, where your message can be heard instead of being canceled or not covered properly by the lamestream media. So we're going to fight this culture war, and we're in it for the long haul, and we're going to win, because little cowards who hide in their office and are afraid to talk issues will never carry the day. There's only so long people are going to put up with that. I'm Nicholas Tutora. I'll talk to you again soon on Tutora Time.